And today we're trying something new for the first time. We'll show you what it is. So, as you know, I've been in the trees here the last couple of years planting. Been growing chestnut trees. I've been growing some persimmon trees. Lots of fruit bushes, elderberry. A lot of these I've been growing from rootings or cuttings that I've taken. One thing that I've been really wanting to get into though is grafting trees. In particular, I've been wanting to graft persimmon trees here. So this is one that I have growing on the edge of my property. There's a couple of reasons why you want to graft fruit trees. Typically, most of your fruit trees that you buy in an orchard are grafted varieties, and in order to get 100% copy of that tree, let's say that you have a tree that produces heavy fruit, it produces a super sweet fruit. In order to get another copy of that or to replicate that, you take a piece of the wood, one of the limbs, what they call a Scion wood, and you graft it onto the rootstock. So basically, you would cut the trunk and then graft it onto that rootstock. They do this. Of course, they're not doing this with full-grown trees. When you're buying apple trees, the rootstocks are this big, and they're big as round as your finger, and they're grafting on tiny pieces at that. But you can also graft on the full-size trees. And today, that's what we're going to attempt. We're going to be doing some bark grafting, and you have to wait to a certain point of the year to do this. Now, why am I doing it on persimmon trees? I'm mainly doing this for wildlife benefit, mainly for the deer. This is an American persimmon tree. They grow wild around here. They grow everywhere. Persimmon trees are either male or female. The females are the only ones that produce fruit, and you have to have both in order to produce. I think females will produce fruit. They just won't produce as much if there's not a male around, if I'm understanding that right. But if there is not a male around, the seeds from the female tree, from the fruit, will not be a viable seed. In other words, it can't sprout and reproduce or whatever. Now, why am I doing this for wildlife benefit? People that tinker around with this grafting, and they develop different varieties by crossing different types. Let's say that they find a tree in their woods that produce really heavy. So they would take a piece of that Scion wood and graft it onto another tree, and then they would cross-pollinate it, and then see what they get with the seed, and so on. So there are also trees that they may find where the fruit hangs on to the tree for a long time. That's what I'm after. These are going to be trees that I plant around my food plots where I deer hunt, and I want fruit this on during the middle to late winter, late fall to winter. October, November, December, and then I also want fruit that's bigger around. So I've ordered a couple of Scions off a line from some tree groups I got. And so this first one here is called Buck Candy, and then this other one is called Deer Candy. And so I'm gonna do these in a couple different spots, and I'll show you about this tree right here right quick. So one thing about this tree right here is this large Y right here. This would not be good once this tree got up. There's no central leader on this tree, and once this tree got up to be a big full-size tree, this being so wide like this would probably put a lot of stress on it, and it could break and crack eventually. It's not good to have a union like that. You can see where I pruned it some. Originally, I was just going to cut one of the limbs off and graft onto there, but I think I'm going to come up about 3 or 4 foot high, and we're going to try it right there. A couple more things I want to show you about what we're using. Everything that I've done here, I've gathered from reading other people online. Skill Cult is one guy that I've watched. I'll leave a link down in the video of what to use, and then some other older YouTube channels. Native Nurseries is a nursery that's owned by Mossy Oak Outdoor Products. I've got some information from there. So This stuff, I'm just passing this along, and I'm just showing you what you can do, why I'm doing it, and then we can follow along on this journey together. We can come back and look and see if it was successful or not. So the first thing you gotta have is some kind of a saw. I'm using this Corona razor tooth saw. I actually have a review on this, or an older video if you want to check it out. You got to have something to wrap the Scion, the rootstock, and where you slide the Scion in. So they make budding tape. They make tape like that nurseries use to put around a stake, like like a little young tree. They would wrap that green tape around it. But I've also seen you can use flagging tape. So this is something that I have, and this is what I'm gonna use. And then once you cut the tree off, you got to have something to seal that with. You can use pruning sealer, but you can also use a waterproof glue. This is Tight Bond 2, so this is water resistant. And we can also go back and put some aluminum foil on it in a baggie to help it even further shed that water. So let's get to the process, and we'll show you how we're going to do it, and hopefully we'll be successful. All right, we got that sawed off. One more thing I want to mention about this right here. You collect your Scion wood in the dead of winter when the trees are dormant, and then you actually do your graft in the springtime, early spring. It's April here, when what they call the bark is slipping, which means the sap is flowing back up in the cambium layer out of the roots up to the trees. The buds on the tree are starting to swell. This is the time that you want to start doing this. Once your Scion wood is collected, it needs to be stored in a Ziploc bag in the refrigerator. The guy I bought mine from recommended putting it in a second bag. He said if you have fruits or veggies in there, that it could cause your Scion wood to start budding. So we've got that out of there. We've also collected some persimmon Scion wood from our property, from my family's property, where we actually have some persimmon trees that grow and hold fruit for a long time. So we have those too to use for later if we need them. So, but I really want to get this variety growing, and if I can get it growing here, right here where I'm at, then I'll have my own Scion wood to use elsewhere, and then I can use seeds that I find to germinate, and then once those seeds germinate, then I can graft some of this Scion wood onto it. I'm gonna go grab some clippers so we can cut our Scion wood, and we'll be right back. First thing we gotta do Alright, so the very last thing we're going to do is put a tag on it. And just got these tags. Just put me a little simple hole in it and got some wire. We're going to wrap it around here. Wish us luck. Alright, so that about wraps it up for this video. We'll be sure to bring you back if we fail or if we succeed. We'll come back out here and show you. Hopefully in I don't know, a couple of weeks we'll start seeing some buds growing. I'm not sure what to expect. We're going to go on back into our property, and we got another tree that we flagged earlier in the year, and we're going to go and do the other variety, the buck candy, on it. We're not going to take you along for that, but you get the gist of it. But when we do the update video, we'll show you both of them.